Hey everyone, Sonny's Barbecue Pitmaster Shannon Snell here, and welcome to another episode of Burning BBQ Questions, where we answer your barbecue questions. Let's do it. All right, here we go. Let's do it. What kind of wood do you use to smoke? Well, I use every wood, all right? What are my favorites? Hickory wood is by far my favorite. I fell in love with mesquite, right? I went out to Dallas, Texas a couple of years back and tried to barbecue back there, right? It was phenomenal, and it was at a smokehouse that was using mesquite wood, and I know about mesquite, right? If you've never used mesquite wood has this distinct taste. It can be overpowering if you use a lot of it, all right? It can be just truly overpowering. So they only use a little bit, right? And it's mostly used for brisket, all right? But my favorite wood to use, or my favorite wood to smoke with, would be hickory, right? Hickory is so prevalent. I live in Florida. It's prevalent around the Florida area. I'm able to get it readily and available. And I also love oak wood. Oak wood provides a really nice, even smoke. And tell you what, if you haven't gone to Sonny's Barbecue, all right, go to Sonny's Barbecue and check out their barbecue, all right? That oak wood, that's all we smoke with. We smoke with oak wood up to 12 to 13 hours for such items such as brisket. It's phenomenal stuff, all right? Oak wood is not a powerful wood, but it provides that really nice dark smoke ring, and it gives you that really nice smoke taste. Same thing that hickory does. So yeah, I love to smoke with all types of wood. I love hickory, I love oak. I talked about mesquite for brisket, so those are a couple that you could try, and those are the ones I like to smoke with. What is the best cut for pulled pork? So there really is only two cuts for pulled pork, and they come from the same area. They're actually the same thing. We're talking pork shoulder, so the shoulder on the hog, or the Boston butt, which is also up near the shoulder, the collar area. So I talked about in our pulled pork video, which you guys can go to our Tales from the Pit series and see, it does not come from the butt of a hog, right? The butt of a hog is actually the hams. You eat those for Christmas and Thanksgiving holiday. The butt, why they call it a Boston butt, is because the same reason that the name is named the Boston butt. It came from Boston in the 1800s. They used to store it in these big iron cask barrels that they used to call buttis. Right? I think it's kind of like the Greek name. It's called a buttis, which is barrel. So pork that was stored in that barrel was called a pork in the barrel, which would be pork butt. All right, so the pork butt or the pork shoulder or the pork collar, that's where you're gonna get the most quote unquote tender piece of pork that you're gonna have. The tender piece of pork from the hog, and cook it to 200, 205 degrees, cooking it to the proper temperature to get great pulled pork. So don't cook the ham. That's not pulled pork. It's gonna dry out on you pretty good. Pork shoulder, pork butt, or pork collar. What is your favorite barbecue dish to cook and why? Wow. So I talked mac and cheese as my favorite barbecue dish to eat. My favorite barbecue dish to cook is 1000% brisket, and I'm gonna tell you why. I was not a brisket fan when I started my barbecue journey. I wasn't. I love, funny story, my first 6 months at Sonny's, I ate nothing but barbecue chicken, French fries, and coleslaw. That's all I ate for the first 6 months. It was my favorite. I used to eat it back in high school. My dad, my brother, and I would go out to Sonny's Thursday nights before the games, and then and eat at Sonny's. Eat all you can eat at Sonny's, and that's all the time. That's all we used to get. Brisket came along maybe about, I don't know, 5 or 6 years ago for me when I went out to Texas and I tried brisket for the first time. I fell in love with it, and then we started to do it at Sonny's. I'm like, man, this brisket stuff is pretty good. Then I realized that brisket was one of the absolute toughest meats to cook. And brisket will bring you to your barbecue knees in a hot second. I'm only saying that because I've had briskets that I perfected. And I was like, I got it right, all right? But then the next couple months later, I have a brisket that's so bad, I'm just throwing it in the trash, right? It's a tough deal to be able to perfect barbecue. And brisket's the single most difficult item to perfect, because you want to get the bark right. You want to get the tenderness right. You want to get the juiciness right. So for me, it's brisket, because brisket's challenging. I haven't perfected brisket yet. Have I had some great briskets? Absolutely. Have I had some bad ones? Absolutely. So it's a continuous effort and a continuous challenge to try to perfect this. And I've been in barbecue for like 16 years now, and I still haven't perfected. So when that day comes, I'm getting out of this business. You guys won't see me on this Tales from the Pit series, but right now, still got some work to do. All right, here we go, here we go, here we go. What flavors go well with pork? So as I read this question, the first one that comes to mind is sweet. Pork and sweetness, they go well together. We talk Sunny sweet sauce. It is a pork sauce. We talk about pork sauces. We talk about sauces that go well with ribs, pork ribs. Sauces that go well with like pork chops, pork butts, pork collars. We're talking sweeter sauces. Now, if you're not a sweet sauce kind of person, you can tune into the earthy side. You got stuff like that, like cumin. You got stuff, oregano. Things that are a little bit more earthy go well with pork. And such items such as red wine. Red wine goes phenomenal with pork, all right? It brings out some of the boldness. It brings out some of the flavor in it. Yeah, I mean, and also think about citrus. You have oranges, you have lemons. Those citrus flavors break down that pork. We talk about those intramuscular fibers inside of pork. I think the citrus, the acidity in the citrus breaks it down really nicely. So if you were going on a scale, right? If you're not a sugar person, then you move the scale down to earthy. If you're not an earthy person, move the scale down to citrus. I think any one of those three, which you should be a fan of if you're eating pork, any one of those three should work for you. All right, two more questions here. What is the easiest protein to smoke? There's two answers here. There's really two answers here. Pork butts, or chicken. I say chicken because chicken is the fastest cook. It takes chicken anywhere for roughly between between 35 minutes and an hour and 15 minutes to cook. You can just season it up. There's not a lot of trimming you have to do on that. And once again, it's pretty quick, all right? You want something off of a grill. I started with chicken. In my barbecue journey, I started with chicken and worked my way up. Obviously, brisket being at the top of that chain now, or beef rib, you know, that's kind of what I'm working on now. But chicken was what I started with because it was the easiest. I knew I had to get it to 165 degrees, and it was done. I was able to make modifications to that throughout that process, but it was a quick cook. I knew I could get it done. And then the second one is obviously a pork butt. Technically with a pork butt, you can overcook that. All right, you want that bone to come out. You want that pulled pork to be nice and tender. So even if you leave it on all day and you wrap it up and all that good stuff, it's gonna get done, right? It may be dry. You may have to inject some seasoning, some sauce, or some liquid back into it. So, but you don't have to season that up. There's not a whole lot of trimming you have to do on that. So I would say a pork butt and probably chicken. Those are the two easiest things to cook. All right, last burning barbecue question. What kind of meat is best for barbecue? It's up to you. It's pork, beef, chicken. They all go well for barbecue. If you got, and I would say this, all right, cater to your crowd. If you're at a place where you're doing something for family, do something that they're gonna like, right? Do something like chicken, all right? Don't hop into a fish area. If there's 2 of the 3 people in your house, so if you're living with a house full of 6 like I do, and 2 of the people in the house don't like fish or seafood, I'm not gonna do fish or seafood. It's gonna turn them off. Do something that's gonna appeal to the crowd. So I'm gonna do a pork butt, I'm gonna do ribs, I'm gonna do something that's gonna be a little bit more popular. But just feel the crowd. The crowd's gonna be able to kind of dictate what you're gonna do, what kind of meat you're gonna barbecue, but I would say start simple. My coach always used to say, keep it simple, stupid, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. And when he said that, it said, hey, you would start out easy and then get more advanced. So what meat is best for barbecuing? All meats are best for barbecuing. You can stick any meat on your grill or your smoker and get something out of it. There's nothing wrong with that, but keep it simple. Start easy and you can go from there. All right, that's it. We burned up all of our questions. So if you guys have more questions, make sure you put it down in the comment section. All right, always willing to answer anything else that might be on your mind. Other than that, make sure you like and subscribe, and also hit the notification bell. That's super important because whenever a video pops up, you'll be the first to know. I'm Sonny's Barbecue Pitmaster Shannon Snell. Thank you for joining me. See you guys next time. Look forward to those questions.